Decarbonising the UK grid is a challenge, but hydropower offers flexibility and storage, even when the weather isn't cooperating. The British Hydropower Association is the leading trade membership association solely representing the interests of the UK hydropower industry. We spoke with their CEO, Kate Gilmartin, about the ways that they're driving growth in the sector and working to provide infrastructure critical to achieving both net zero and energy security.
Kate Gilmartin, CEO of the British Hydropower Association. Thanks for joining us.
Hi there, Nadira. Good to be here. Thank you.
What is the BHA's focus as an organisation?
The British Hydropower Association is the leading trade membership association that solely represents the interests of the UK hydropower industry. And our mission is to drive growth in the sector by influencing and promoting hydropower and really making it relevant within the government's decarbonisation ambitions for 2030.
What are the relative benefits of hydropower?
Well, I'd say really the key benefit of hydropower is it's a winter generator. And that's when we use most energy is across those winter dark months. We are there generating at peak tea time demand. And we can be dispatchable low carbon generation as well, which basically means we've got huge amounts of reservoirs and actually we can generate when the grid needs us most to generate. So I think those are the key attributes is we are secure, we're proven, we're reliable, we're stable, and we generate when we most need energy across those dark winter months.
Can you share a bit about the history of hydropower in the UK?
Yeah, sure. Well, originally the first hydropower scheme was at Craigside up in Northumberland, and originally Armstrong wanted to power an electric light bulb, and that was the beginning of hydropower in the UK. We've actually got a really good history in terms of order books from manufacturers to show that hydropower was developed across private estates, and this is prior to the national grid. So we can see, for example, that Queen Victoria had hydropower developed at Balmoral. Hydropower was then used by the North of Scotland Hydroelectricity Board to help roll out the national grid across north of Scotland. And they did that under a social mandate to bring people onto the grid, which was seen to be a real step change in their well-being. We did find that when the national grid was rolled out, some hydropower plants in the 50s and 60s were actually turned off. If they had maintenance issues, for example, it was deemed to be easier just to have power from centralised coal plants, for example. And then we saw a resurgence of hydropower as climate awareness took place and a realisation that we had to shift from fossil fuels. So mechanisms like the non-fossil fuel obligation, then the renewable obligation certificate, and then later the feed-in tariff were all there to bring forward new hydropower generation. So we've seen a rise and fall of hydropower, but I think the key point is that hydropower generates for over 100 years. So some of those old schemes have been generating for over a century, and they've seen the rise and fall of coal and now some nuclear and also some gas, and they're still in the background generating away.
Now, although hydropower is the fourth largest renewable energy source in the UK, according to the National Grid, it still only accounts for around 2% of the country's overall renewable energy mix. Why doesn't the UK have more hydropower today?
Well, really, hydropower is a product of its environment and its geography. So we have developed, a couple of gigawatts of hydropower, and we have got potential to develop another 1 gigawatt. That was a piece of research done by Birmingham University a couple of years ago. But we have to have the price stabilisation mechanism to enable that to come forward. We have to have the bankable business case. And these are long-term projects that have value over, as I said, 100 years. So we've got more opportunity for new hydropower. But I think the point is that is when hydropower generates. We might only be 2% of generation, but that's a really important time period of generation. There's tea time, peak demand, when everyone wants to heat their homes, put the kettle on and put lighting in their homes. That's when we are generating. And we have, as I said, dispatchable generation through all those reservoirs that we have. And also we are more reliable than, say, wind, where we might have a period of 3 weeks of low wind. The hydropower will be generating during that period as well. So I think we are a really essential part of the mix. Although we are a smaller percentage generation, the key is when we are generating.
Pumped storage hydro can store and release energy. Can you tell us about its future potential for the UK?
Yes, well, as I said a couple of weeks ago, we had an announcement from the government saying they want to support long duration energy storage through a cap and floor price stabilisation mechanism. These are really big projects, they're multi-billion-pound projects, and we have to have that price stabilisation mechanism to build that bankable business case and to give investor confidence. So pumped storage hydropower is going to be really key in our future energy grid as we have more and more of our generation from intermittent renewable energy sources like solar and wind. We have to have flexibility and balancing, and long duration energy storage through pumped storage hydro has done that historically. We have 4 existing schemes and we have a current pipeline of 10 schemes that we're looking to bring forward to really help the grid be flexible, but be stable and operable as we shift towards intermittent renewables of solar and wind. So it's really crucial that that's developed alongside more intermittent renewables.
Kate Gilmartin, CEO of the British Hydropower Association, thank you.
Thank you.